Have you reviewed your first impression? Hello, it's November. It's a whole new month. I hope your Halloween went well. I hope it wasn't raining or it wasn't too cold. And I hope you got lots of candy, and your dentist will certainly be appreciating that. Of course, if you're from the UK or from countries where you think, then this is a huge thing in North America for everyone else. Go there sometime and experience it. It's quite good fun. I am still in Canada, and yes, we were out. It was all great fun. Kids got far too much, and they'll be into the dentist having all their teeth replaced some point soon. But today I'm going to talk about first impressions. I've discussed them before multiple times, because if you are going to be a marketer, and of course if you have a business, or if you're in charge of a large team, or you're a sales manager, you are a marketer. Marketing is everything in your business, everything except asking for the sale and taking the money. That's selling. If you do your marketing right, you don't need to put any effort into the actual selling. It's all done and lined up for you. And one of those things includes the first impression. Now, what I mean by that is when people first come across you, in a blink of an eye, in a split second, in a millisecond, their brain is conditioned to have decided what they think of you, what they think of your product, but it's mostly what they think of you. You can call it gut reaction. You can call it judging. You can call it what you like, but it happens. Of course, a lot of people will say, but you shouldn't judge. We can't help it. We're built that way. It's in the brain. It's subliminal. You haven't got a chance. So when someone comes across your business, now that can be in multiple ways, because remember, I'm talking about first impression. It can be over the phone, phoning you up, contacting you, talking to you. It can be receiving a letter or a leaflet or a mail shot from you. It could be receiving an email from you. It could be your delivery driver delivering goods. It could be your service personnel meeting someone. It could be your salesperson. Or it could be someone seeing you standing on stage or at a little local event, talking or networking. Whatever it is, people will have that first impression. Now, I suggest that periodically you review it. And this is what I'm talking about. It's all well and good saying, well, yeah, should be okay. But have you actually reviewed your first impression? How on earth can you do that? You can't really review it as to how other people see it. So why don't you ask somebody to do it for you? Again, if you're thinking, well, how on earth do I do that? Yeah, I'm really not putting any effort in. You're making me work hard here. What you need to do is just get a friend. You must have some friends. And by friend or an acquaintance, somebody who is not overly involved. So, for instance, if you asked your spouse will tell you what you expect them to hear. If you asked a relative or a very close friend, they'll tell you what you want to hear. They'll say, oh yes, it's all lovely. They're not going to criticize. People don't want to upset you. People don't like conflict. So ask someone you know, someone you respect, or you could even ask a customer. Yeah, those people, their opinion's quite important, because they're the ones who spend the money based on it. So what do they want to do? You want to show them things that people see and ask them very, very pointed questions as to what they think. So, for example, if you answered the phone and said XXXX, whatever you say when you answer the phone, what do they think? How about sitting with them, making a phone call and asking them to phone the office now, phone your company, and then see what happens and ask them to afterwards make a sort of like a secret shopping inquiry. Just ask some questions and then hang up afterwards as normal, and then ask them what did they think. Did the person sound competent? Did they introduce the company? Did they sound friendly? Did they sound like they're reading from a script? Did they sound uninterested? You could also show them a couple of letters or a couple of emails printed out and say, what do you think of these? What do you think of the subject line? Is this something you would read? Is this something you'd throw away? Why? Why would you read it? Why would you throw it away? All these things. Look at that first impression and try to improve it. What about your building, where you are, your premises? How old is the sign on the front of your building or your store or shop? How old is it? When was it last renewed? Is it dirty? Do you ever wash it? What do your windows look like? If you have a store or a shop, when was the last time you refreshed the look on your shop? Have you still got things hanging up from Christmas last year? For example, things like that. Does it look appealing? Now, of course, we don't have the money to spend, such as Walmart's and Tesco's and Marks and Spencer's of the world. We can't be having companies coming around replacing our signs every 5 minutes, but you can always look at it. It can always do with a lick of paint. And if you think, I can't afford that, really? Do you not think that making something look new and fresh gives you a reason to talk to customers and say, hey, look at our new fresh look, come in, have a look on the inside. We'll invite you round for wine and cheese, and you can look at some of the range and etc. Do you not think you can use these things of having a little refresh here and there? Of course, if you're going to put your staff in new uniforms, your customer-facing staff, if you've got service staff, or if you've got delivery people, do you provide them with workwear? How often is it replaced? Do you wait for them to ask, or do you actually look at it and think, oh my gosh, they have been washing that in bleach-based stuff. It's completely different colour to everyone else. They've stretched it, it's got holes, it's got stains on the neck, or whatever. People are all different, and they possibly don't realise they are working for you. You can replace their workwear. You can give them new stuff every 3 months, every 6 months, whatever it is. Just replace it all. Just give them a new set. What's it going to cost you? $100, £100? Really? You can't afford that? How much did you last spend on a lunch out or a dinner for yourself? Okay, so think about this, because customers are thinking about it, and these all make the 1%, right? These all add up as 1%. If you have your staff have a better way, a better style of answering the phone in a way that they all know and they can be consistent. If you can put your staff in your customer-facing staff in cleaner workwear, new workwear. If you can introduce some system for washing the vehicles, yes, you'll have to pay. No, they won't do it themselves with their kids on a weekend. Yes, you'll have to pay. But if you make sure they constantly have clean vehicles, what does that cost for a car wash? £4, £5, big deal. How many sales is it going to take to make that back? So 1 or 2 of those a week, through the winter especially. What about business cards, new business cards? What about refresh? What about painting, redoing the sign out the front? All of those things, I mentioned a bunch. That's, if each of those is 1%, that's 5%. And that's not even the mathematical work, it's actually more than that. But that's 5 1%. 5%, if these all add a little bit to your business. Yeah? You follow? Yeah? Yeah. You got me? Okay. So, it is a Tuesday. Every Tuesday we give you a toolbox tip, and sometimes I just want to remind you of some of the great tools that are there that you should be using. One is Skype. Yes, Skype. In my experience, I've used it for ages. It used to be flaky on long calls, but since Microsoft have owned Skype, it is fantastic. Microsoft have massive cloud infrastructure. It's really, really good. Now, I've never used it for the paid version of Skype. I've only ever used it for free, but all my interviews are done on Skype. When I talk to customers, when I do free time, you can get hold of me at marketingforowners.com/free time. You can book a half-hour free, no obligation, talk about anything cool with me, and quite a lot of people do, you'd be surprised. That's on Skype. It's all free. Use it. Interview customers. Talk to them anywhere in the world. Use Skype. End of. Tomorrow, one of my favourite interviews, one of the people I've been looking forward to speaking to for a long time. It is Tom Colzer of Aweber. He is the founder of Aweber, one of the top email marketing system providers on the planet. He invented the autoresponder sequence. He's been our email provider for a long time. He's got some great things to say. You really do not want to miss that. So, Wednesday, Tom Colzer.